Hey, this is TimmyG. Welcome to the 5th edition of my tutorial series on DJay Pro 2 for Mac by Algoriddim. Today's tutorial will be about editing the beat grid, adjusting the BPM of a track, adding hot cues, and saving loops. All of this will be done utilizing single deck mode. Let's get started. So you don't actually need to use single deck mode to make a lot of these changes, but I just find it the easiest to use. So in order to get to single deck mode, you click right here where there's the one deck mode. And then it might take you to auto mix automatically. So you click it again, and then you just hit single deck. And then we see our one deck right here. And the first thing that I'm going to do, and by the way, we're using Freaky Friday by Chris Brown and Lil Dicky as our example track here because DJay Pro 2's auto analysis of this track's BPM was incorrect. So I'm going to go over how to change it and all sorts of other stuff. So right away, to change it, if we click on the BPM, we can see that the default is BPM. You have tempo as well, but we talked about that in a previous tutorial. But if you want to change it, now the actual BPM of this track is 100. So if you know that, then you can just type in 100, hit enter, and then it will analyze the track again. And now our BPM is 100. A lot of times when tracks have a lot of syncopation like this track does, the auto analysis messes it up. So anyway, if you wanted to restore that, you just hit this button right here and it would get it back to what the software's analysis is, but we don't want to restore it because now we know it's right. So next thing that I want to do is to zoom in on the waveform. And the reason we want to do that is so we can see every little detail. So in order to zoom in, we click right here on this one, and then we can zoom in or out. So to zoom out, you can make it smaller, but when we're editing fine details, we want to zoom in. And let's see, that's the, yep, here we go. This is the most it'll let you zoom in, and it's hard to control if it's zoomed in this much. But let's say that I wanted to start the track here instead of where it is. So right here is where the first grid line is, but we want to start it right here. So we can either drag it right here and go here and click BPM grid and then hit set grid point, or we can use these things to adjust the grid start. So I'm going to click this, and now our starting grid is at the very beginning of this the sound waveform. So then if I want to apply it, I have to click apply shift, and I'm going to zoom back out and see that it looks good. This is right when the track starts. So if we play it, we can hear it. So anyway, let's move on. Now I'm going to load my track, The Fight, for talking about some more BPM stuff, cue points, and loops. So once the track is loaded, I see that the BPM is 87, and if I wanted to make it double, so I actually, when I made this track, I set it at double this, so that would be 174. You can type in 174 like we did earlier, or you can just hit this double button, and then it will double it for you. And you don't need to apply anything, it will automatically save. But if you wanted to get back, you can either hit half, or you can hit restore. But I'm going to keep it at 174 because that's what it was. I intended it to be. And now I want to set cue points or hot cues. So I'm going to click right here, go to cue points, and then wherever this red playhead is where the cue point is going to be set. So let's say I want to set one right at the beginning. So all I'll have to do is click this, and then I'll have a cue point. Now, if I want to name this cue point, I can. I need to make sure that this editing pencil is on. So if it's off, you can't edit it. If it's on, you can. So I'm going to click right here, and let's say I want to call it intro. So I can type intro, and now that is named. Let's say I want to go somewhere else in the track, like, let's see, where are we? All right, so there's verse 1. This is the first part of verse 1. So I'll go set this cue point, then I'll name it verse 1. And then let's say that I accidentally set a cue point, or I set one and then I don't want it anymore. in order to delete it, you just make sure that you're in this editing mode again, and then you click this X, and then it is no more. So then now that's how to set your cue points. If you want to play your cue points, you just click and hold, and then if you want to stop, you stop. If you want them to play and you don't need to hold it, your track needs to be playing. So if my track's playing right now, and then I want to go back to the intro, it'll still play, but it'll go back to the intro when I click it from the intro. Okay, next we're going to do loops, and the loops are very similar. The saved loops are very similar to the cue points. So we're going to go to loops, and then let's say that I want to set a loop. Let's say I want to set a loop at the beginning. So let's say I want to set a loop right there. So I'm going to go back to the beginning, and then I can decide how many bars I want my loops to be, how many beats, I want my loops to be. So let's say I want it to be 8 beats, and I already have one here. So what I want to do is I want to hit this edit. I'm going to delete this one, and then I'm going to add this loop right here. And then once again, if I want to name it, I can do, let's say I want to name it first loop, and then I'll turn this off, and then I can play the track. And very similar to a hot cue, I can just click on this save loop, and it'll start playing from the loop and then keep looping until I loop out of it. So yeah, that's about it on single deck mode. If you like this video, or if it helped you out, be sure to give it a thumbs up. If you have any questions or video suggestions, be sure to leave a comment. If you want to see more content like this, and check out my original music and DJ performances, be sure to subscribe to my channel. Thanks a lot.